Thank you, Fenmi, for the update there. Let's now scrutinize that for the Public Affairs Analyst. Deyemi Saka joins me via Zoom. I'm wondering how you react to the latest position from the President, Yemi, as regards the assurance coming from Mr. President himself that the price of petrol will not be increased, irrespective of the possible hike due to the cost, the landing cost.
Well, I think it's obvious that somebody is not is being insincere or is not ready to own up to face the whole truth as it is. This is not me disrespecting anybody or casting aspersion on anybody. You cannot see you've regulated a sector and you still another breath of maybe utterances you speaking of control. You've regulated the downstream sector or part you've regulated the oil sector. You cannot determine what happens in that sector. The market forces determines it. And what's the market forces? It's not just only NNPC that has the tank farm or that's bringing fuel into this country. You have a lot of other companies that are doing that. And everybody wants to go into business to want to make profits. If you're not looking at, expanding or increasing your profit margin, you probably want to sustain your profit margin. If I was bringing whatever liters of probably a vessel in, this is just a guesstimate, I'm not in the oil sector, bringing a vessel in for 10 billion naira, and it comes to 15 billion naira because of exchange rates, you still want to, when you bring 10 billion naira, you're making a profit of 1 billion naira. Now at 15 billion naira, you still want to make a profit. So what they're saying is that they are not ready to tell Nigerians that they are ready to deregulate this period, that there's an increase in, there's a change in Forex, or something. I don't know, because there's
a bit more clarity there, as to the position of the president. He's clear about the regulations standing.
No, it's clear, but yes. Let's face it, Nefemi, you cannot tell people not to sustain their business or profit margin. It is this. Definitely because of the increase in the exchange rate, the landing cost of a liter of PMS will be different. So how do they make up for the differential? So I'm calling it. That is the anxiety. That is the apprehension of NLC and other marketers. You cannot. That's what I'm saying. If there's any way mechanism that they're going to put in place, but fine. I'm a Nigerian. I would love that. I'm not going to be against that.
I understand the apprehension because we spoke with the APMAN president himself yesterday, who highlighted some of the concerns you have raised. Exchange rate, even the price of oil in the international market. But what the president is saying today is clean up existing inefficiencies within the midstream and downstream sector.
I was going to come to that.
Yes.
And I remember when Ajuri got into office, he said this is not going to be an era where presidential aides will talk down on Nigerians. He said that, and not about NLC, he said the NLC should look at the issues in the upstream and downstream sector. I was expecting to educate us, but just danced around it. And there's no difference between telling somebody, have you lost your mind, and asking me, are you drunk? It's exactly what he has just done, because he didn't say anything. It's just as we talking tough and trying to make everybody see the labor union as anti-government.
Yesterday, Deyemi, the acting CBN governor met with Mr. President, and they talked about new measures being put in place to,
bring down. There was an accusation, an allegation against NLC not going to constructively looking at the downstream and upstream sector, the regularities and the consistencies there. We're expecting them to say NLC is not, yes, there's an arm of NLC that's involved in the oil sector, the Pengasan and what have you. But now you're speaking to Nigerians, educate us on the inconsistencies or the irregularities that NLC is not feeding Nigerians with. It's not just enough to say they are not doing that and you just move on and start dancing.
All right, talking about NLC, a nationwide shutdown without notice is what organized labor, was threatening before this new information should pump price increase again for the third time in less than 3 months. And this threat, Deyemi, is coming barely 2 weeks after the president met with the labor leaders. How justified would labor's action be when government is insisting, like you have said, that market forces determine the price?
Nefemi, whether you like it or not, I don't support a total shutdown of the country or the economy, because it's counterproductive. It's like you getting 10 steps and going 15 steps backward. You gain some, you lose a lot. I'm not needlessly antagonistic here, but we're laying out the facts that if you want to engage Nigerians, please inform us when we know what's wrong with. And it's when I'm tired of this comparison of the pump price of Nigeria with this and that. And it is the same. Why do we keep comparing with things that are bad? If your neighbor's wife has a miscarriage, does it make it good for a wife to have a miscarriage? Because most of these countries being cited or highlighted are probably not of oil-producing country. Let's go back in history. 2022 was when the Ukraine-Russian crisis started. Saudi Arabia owns a state-owned company called Aramco. As at August, by August 2022, Saudi Arabia Aramco declared $880 billion profit beyond what they were projecting for the year 2022. And they promised that excess profit was going to go back to the society for social amenities and even a sort of subsidy for the people.
All right.
What did NNPC do?
So,
NNPC declared loss.
Deyemi, because we have just about 3 minutes more, let us try to propose some solution. Some have suggested a dollar concession to marketers. I think it was the National Parent-Teacher Association of Nigeria that pleaded with Mr. President to give full importers dollar at a concessionary rate until the refineries are fixed. But that's kind of returning to the interventionist policy of the previous administration. What do you make of this?
How many people do you want to keep giving a bazaar of dollars? Sanusi will tell you that if you implement that policy again, like you said the other time, you're making billionaires in 30 minutes in 1 hour. We should look at, and you see, for me, let's face this. You probably will keep saying subsidy has to go. It's just something, a package for some people to enrich themselves. Please, these people are not ghosts. You have not said some ghosts or genies or probably, extraterrestrials. They are Nigerians. Let them cough these things out. They are wicked. 120 million to 180 million. I don't, we just keep throwing these figures around. I don't even believe the population of Nigeria, unless you have a true census, cannot pay for the sins and the crime and the greed of just 20, 100, 200 people. It's unfair. And there's Kenya, as we talked subsidy on PMS yesterday or today, because they found out that the removal of subsidy brought about a spike in everything in the society. Sometimes I wasn't saying, and if you're going to remove subsidy, there was a need for you to have your refining capacity to give you a comparative advantage as well. And for crying out loud, we've been spending billions of naira since whatever, and it is a government, APC into APC. On Port Harcourt refinery, it's what has happened. In Port Harcourt subsidy, this subsidy will be removed this year, was removed in 2016. And the story was by 2017, the pump price of fuel will come down. So, and over time, they came back again. I can probably want to give you a rundown.
All right.
It was supposed to be a subsidy regime to April till last year. Then the figure was 200 and something billion. It became 436 billion. It became 1.7 billion, 1.3 trillion.
We have to go now, Deyemi.
Now it's 3 point something trillion. So what brought about this? Well, have we checked these books? Are we bringing these people to books?
All right.
Nigerians can't be paying for the sins of some people. It's unfair.
All right. Let's say how it all plays out in the coming days. Add to what Mr. President has said. All of the intervention that is also talked about in the form of palliatives, and also what the CBN did say yesterday about pulling down the impact of speculation on the value of naira. Hopefully, all of this would work. Deyemi Saka,
and if I make a quick one for me,
Public Affairs Analyst. I'm afraid we have to go.
I think it's
now.
the type of.
We'll definitely continue this conversation some other time. Deyemi Saka, thank you so much for joining us on the program. And that's our show today. You can watch a repeat by midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. See you again at 7 p.m.